from Goodison Park in Liverpool. Just like the Champions League, Europe's other club competition has reached the stage where quarter-final places are being decided. Welcome to our coverage of this pivotal UEFA Cup second leg tie between Everton and Fiorentina on ESPN. I'm Adrian Healy with Seamus Mallan joining me for commentary. Seamus, after the first leg a week ago, it would appear that the balance of power is tipped towards the side from Florence.
Well, it certainly would, wouldn't it? This is the kind of challenge that Inter faced yesterday, going home down 2. But look at this. Early on in the first half, it looked like Mary surely was going to score for them. Missed a great number of chances. But it was this cracking volley just inside the post, or low driven shot by Kuzmanovic that got them the lead. And then they added this killer second volley, again inside Tim Howard's near post, after he had been magnificent in keeping Everton in the match prior to those.
This is the UEFA Cup, Europe's other main club competition. It has provided an important stepping stone in recent seasons for sides with Champions League ambitions, and certainly that's a category under which Fiorentina and Everton both fall, both hoping to qualify for next season's Champions League and using a long run in the UEFA Cup perhaps as a springboard to further success. So can Everton redress the balance? Recent Anglo-Italian clashes in the Champions League have gone the way of the English sides. Arsenal and Liverpool taking care of both the major Milan sides, but Everton with the boot on the other foot, so to speak. Unlike Liverpool, who had a 2-0 advantage yesterday going into their game against Inter, they are behind by the same scoreline and have it all to do at home here against the side from Florence. Everton in blue, going from right to left, and Fiorentina, the side who are known as the Viola, a change from their usual purple strip. They'll be playing in red tonight. Here's Philip Neville, a man with a huge amount of European experience, of course, primarily with Manchester United, part of that Champions League winning squad back in 1999. Mikel Arteta, the Spanish creative influence, immediately winning a free kick. Manuel Pascual with a fairly industrial challenge out near the corner flag. And forward come Jagielka and Lescott. And Lescott has been a fine provider of goals from the back this season. 5 to aim for. One of Arteta's better deliveries.
No, it very definitely not struck with the kind of authority that David Moyes or he himself would prefer. They're going to just keep their composure here, go searching the early goal, of course, but be cautious. Don't give anything away in their enthusiasm to go forward.
Yes, David Moyes preaching patience as the key before the game. Yes, they have to score twice at least. They don't have to come in the first half an hour. And they can't come out all trumpets blazing, were David Moyes' exact words. Well, they started brightly. There's Lescott finding Johnson. A little layoff. Well, the shooting chance was there, and Leon Osman, I don't think he really got hold of it, but it might have taken a little deflection too.
No, but Johnson does ever so well. There's the first deflection, but look at him shield the ball so well there. And he set it up very nicely. They get a corner from it. And Osman was in a wonderfully supportive position there for the knockdown from the striker.
Arteta, better delivery this time, but well claimed by Sebastian Frey, one of Europe's finest goalkeepers, no doubt about it. The Frenchman has been linked with many of the top sides in Italy and indeed around Europe. And Yakubu has picked up a worrisome knock here for Everton. Yakubu, who has 16 goals this season in all competitions, has proved to be an inspirational signing from Middlesbrough. You know, it's the most goals in the season already by any Everton player, Seamus, since Andrei Kanchelskis back in 1996.
Right, yeah. Who promptly went off to Fiorentina.
Don't think Yakubu will be following suit.
No, I don't think so.
I guess stranger things have happened. Osvaldo going up for the flick. It'll be fascinating to see how Fiorentina play this. Their words coming out of their camp prior to the game were that they weren't coming to defend, that they realised that they perhaps would need another goal to really kill the tie off. 2-0 always considered one of the most dangerous leads in football. Carsley, on it goes. No way or space to wriggle through there for Steven Pienaar, the South African. And it's certainly a high-octane start by Everton. First touch of the ball for Tim Howard. Flicked on by Johnson. Yakubu certainly looks to be labouring a little still, doesn't he? And Dainelli is the recipient here of an elbow in the face.
Yeah, it was an elbow after the challenge as he swung around. It was totally unintentional on Johnson's part. Johnson's jump was fantastic, and the flick on there was really top-notch quality. And as he swung around to see what was next, he inadvertently clattered into the defender, Dainelli.
Well, you can be sure that any stoppage will be greeted with a chorus of boos and whistles from the Everton fans, because they spoke about this following the first leg in Florence last week. They felt the amount of stoppage time was very over the top. And they were looking to Erik Bramhaar, the Dutch referee, to make a difference tonight. These are the Everton substitutes. Thomas Gravesen is a player with a huge amount of European experience. The other end of the scale is Victor Anichebe, the young Nigerian. There is Erik Bramhaar from the Netherlands. First time really in the Everton half for the visitors.
No problem for Joseph Yobo, though, getting up easily, clearing it.
Now it's Johnson. A bit of a heavy touch. That allowed Kuzmanovic to get back. Now Marco Donadel. It's asking a lot of Osvaldo. Osvaldo up against Yobo. Yobo's clearance retrieved by Donadel, though.
He's a bit too cute back there defending, isn't it? Get the more direct ball, head it wide and high, and not just a fancy low-risk pass at the center of the area there.
These are the available substitutes for Fiorentina. Mario Santana is a flying Argentine winger. Gianpaolo Panzini, of course, has been first-choice striker for most of the season, alongside Adrian Mutu. Mutu still suffering with a knee injury, unavailable tonight. Lescott looking long for the scurrying Johnson, but across comes Dainelli. Johnson's throw, picking out Lescott. Yakubu getting in amongst them, but the bounce favoured the defence. David Moyes, who's been at Everton into the 6th year of his reign now. He called this one of the biggest challenges of his time at Everton tonight. Vieri on to Osvaldo. And touch again from the Argentine for Pascual. Joseph Yobo. Quite get the clearance right. Neither did the follow-up shot from Kuzmanovic.
Well, Arteta is a player I'm going to wonder about tonight too. You know, he's been in and out of the side through injury and so forth, but he's a player who can make a big difference. At the moment, it's very sort of direct football from Everton, but Arteta can deliver great set pieces. His first corner left something to be desired, but free kicks, he can be magical, but also his passing can pry open defenses, and I think that will be important, not just simply the hoofed ball for Johnson as target, but the more subtle, more nuanced kind of pass play. Can they produce that against a quality side like Fiorentina?
Everton's recent run has come with just one striker up front with Yakubu. Generally, Tim Cahill has been slotted in just behind him. And Andrew Johnson has had to be very patient. Certainly gets his chance tonight. Here's Yakubu. Christian Vieri's touch just off the mark. Dainelli, Fiorentina captain, across to tidy up. Everton quick to regain possession. And they build again. Neville and Arteta trying to combine on the right-hand side.
Good change of direction there from Carsley. This old player, tremendous experience, Lee Carsley. 24 years of age, and of course a bit of a crunching tackler, but also often underestimated for his good vision in the game.
Montolivo, one of the first leg goal scorers. And then a little bit of a disagreement between Osman and Osvaldo. Everton have been amongst the goals, particularly here at Goodison Park in the league. They've averaged just a shade under 2 a game. That's their initial target tonight. It's been a wonderful run they've been on, Seamus. 29th of December, the last time David Moyes tasted defeat in the Premier League, that at the hands of Arsenal. 9 games since then and 7 victories to go along with 2 draws.
Yeah, and they've been defending extremely well too. Before that loss to Fiorentina, they had only given 2 goals away in their previous 7 matches. It's been a very good purple patch for Everton. But Europe is everything to this side. They really will be looking over their shoulders at a little bit of what happened with the other side from Liverpool yesterday. And they've got to be thinking, us too.
Yakubu just behind the run of Pienaar. Vieri. Jorgensen out-muscled in the air by Lescott. Now Carsley can set the home side on their way, but slightly misplaced his long through ball for Andrew Johnson.
He's so mobile, isn't he, Johnson? He will give you 100% and then some with his wide runs and, of course, with his very physical play inside. It does sort of encourage the early ball sometimes when the early ball really isn't on. Just use him as a decoy and look for other places to find the openings.
Donadell and Montolivo combining to get it away. Vieri prepared to give chase, and he's the beneficiary of a rather slack header from Jagielka. Falls for Donadell. And his rasping drive was blocked on the edge of the area. Yakubu was hoisting the ball out to the left flank, hoping someone would be motoring forward.
Well, that's what I was talking about a moment ago. I think there's a little bit of hit and hope about some of these, this anxiety to get the ball forward. It's not quite what David Moyes had in mind. The crowd roaring the side on here, so that sort of lifts the adrenaline rush a bit, gets it going. And players need to be a bit more composed and take an extra second before hitting the sort of the blind ball into space.
Andy Johnson trying to wrestle his way around Alessandro Gambarini to no avail.
They're an imposing duo, aren't they? Gambarini and Dainelli. Really the captain. And the Alessandro Gambarini. 26 and 28 years of age.
Tim Howard out to the edge of his area. 29-year-old stopper. It was exactly 4 years ago to the day since a moment to forget for Tim Howard for Manchester United in the Champions League, and that big mistake that led to Porto going through. Bayern Munich as good as through already. They lead 5-0 from the first leg against Anderlecht, and already a goal up in Bavaria tonight.
Yeah, and they're opening the gap up in the Bundesliga too, over second place. And they will have a new exciting manager coming in the name of Mr. Klinsmann. So never a dull moment with FC Hollywood, is there? There's always something in the air when it comes to Bayern, but they are getting the results in 2 competitions. Of course, they are, shall we say, embarrassed to be in this competition, quite frankly.
And they have to be amongst the favourites, if not the favourite, to lift the trophy just down the road from here.
I would think so, yeah.
Final at the City of Manchester Stadium in mid-May.
Of course, a national team member for South Africa. Played against Tim Howard recently in the USA-South Africa match in South Africa. Won by the United States 1-0. Tim Howard played half the match.
Tell you, it was the big Brazilian Lucio who's found the back of the net for Bayern Munich. Everton looking to follow suit. Arteta will be asked to take the free kick again. They thought about working it short and quickly. Mikel Arteta, who's missed a chunk of the season, hasn't quite had the same effect as he did last year for the Toffees. Keeps it short. Breaks for Pienaar. Steven Pienaar does well to deliver the cross, and it's missed and bundled home by Andrew Johnson. And Everton have what they craved, the early breakthrough. Well, Sebastian Frey somehow made a complete mess of this, Seamus.
Yeah, but this is great from Pienaar, though. He sets up gets the cross in beautifully. Goalkeeper's all at sea. The ball bounces off the nose of Johnson. He can't seem to score an orthodox goal, can he? It's off his arm, it's off his elbow, but this one hits him in the nose and goes in. And after 16 minutes, they get that crucial first-half goal they wanted. But a lot of credit to Pienaar, who chased down that ball to the touchline, drew the defender, got away from him quickly, and whipped that ball in. I have to say, Ufaluzzi perhaps could have been a little bit tighter on him for the cross. And then Sebastian Frey, so uncharacteristic of him, Adrian, such a good goalkeeper in the basics of the skill, and gets beaten by that ball, deceived by it, and now all of a sudden it's very much game on for the Toffees.
Any part of your body will do when you're a striker. They all count exactly the same, and Andrew Johnson scored a goal with his shoulder at best against Sunderland. And Sunday's repeated the trick here, and Everton have reduced their overall deficit to 1. They lead by a goal to 0 on the night, but still trail 2-1 on aggregate.
And now this is where Moyes will be, I think, again, urging patience. Don't go chasing the second one. Don't open yourself up to a piece of brain-dead behavior at the back and allowing them to get back in, because an away goal changes the things dramatically too for the visitors. So you don't want to give them that opening. Keep possession, work for the second one, don't take risks at the back.
Howard's clearance as far as Kuzmanovic, but Everton have it back quickly. Arteta is bowled over. Pascual nipping at his heels.
Yeah, a bit impatient there, really. No danger. Why make that kind of commitment?
And Lescott has tricked his way around 2. Julian Lescott. Not a bad cross either, was it? It's found its way to Arteta.
Oh. Fantastic work by Lescott. Wonderful, nimble play. There's one, there's the second one, and the great second touch to set up the cross. Good defensive header, really, but it goes right to Arteta. What a shambles he makes of that one. The Spaniard, he had plenty of time to bring it under control. He did. Went for the half volley and just sliced it off the outside of his right boot. But wonderful skill from Lescott.
Arteta involved again. Pienaar just jabbing it in the direction of Johnson, but Everton with the wind in their sails at the moment.
Well, they got the passion here, haven't they? They've really got the passion of the game. The crowd is pumping them up, and Fiorentina are rocked at this point. There's a mistake.
It's a giveaway by Carsley, but Fiorentina can't take advantage. Christian Vieri, a man with so much European experience up front for Fiorentina. He was the lone target man. And the free kick has been given. Collision just outside the area. It looked a fairly innocuous one, but closer inspection a little more revealing.
Yeah, he does obviously come up with a body check at the back. So somewhat some frustration in Dario Danelli's play at this one. He's the captain. He should be ready for a very, very tough evening of physical challenge. No question about that from Johnson, but he's let his guard down there.
It'll be Arteta or Neville. It's going to be Arteta. And Sebastian Frey swinging at full length to deal with the shot from the Spaniard.
Well, this is the set piece we talked about, and it's just about to curve inside the post. Took a little bit too long to get there, so Frey was able to get over it. You saw Johnson also collapsing the wall with a bit of an assist on his part, which is outside the borders of the rules, but he got away with it.
Frey trying to put that early error behind him. 20 minutes gone at Goodison. Fiorentina yet to really display any attacking menace in this game. Donadell takes advantage of Johnson's slip. Jagielka effecting the clearance. Scott's header. And easy for Tim Howard.
Well, Anderlecht making a bit of a match of this one. Even though they're well and truly out of the competition, really, with the 5-0 deficit coming into this one. Fiorentina, it's going to be a handball there, yeah. Inadvertent perhaps, but nonetheless. Fiorentina really have... They may have said they're coming to play some attacking football, but it's been very half-hearted. Not a great deal sense of commitment there. They need to get a goal here just to put themselves on the map, because at the moment they're looking like they'll give away a second. Not too much trouble. What on earth happened to Frey? I think he seemed to see it in the last minute, Adrian, as it dropped over the two players in front of him. But his body language was really quite distressing in that he was gone to ground, really, and then it bounced by him.
Neville in his third year with Everton.
Yeah, he had some comments to say about the match from Fiorentina in Florence. He just thought they were way too negative in their tactics, Everton. Much too cautious, he said. No flair. Got to get it right back at Goodison. So far they have.
It was a performance that David Moyes gave him several sleepless nights. He's sleeping a lot better if Everton managed to turn this around. So far, so good for the Toffees. De Viola for Fiorentina being asked some serious questions. Don't forget our new website, scorecentre.com. All the news and results from around the world of football, all in one place. Now Arteta. He's played nearly all of his career in the British Isles, Mikel Arteta. After coming through the Barcelona youth system. And he really is a set-piece specialist too. Jagielka and Yobo looking to get the end of another one, and scrambled away for now. Pienaar returning it with interest. This time at Fiorentina, Successful clearance. Vieri just turning into trouble.
He's just unpersuasive to me. I don't know. I think as they say, Vieri's future is behind him in many ways. He's just playing like a player who's out there going through the motions. It's just not the passion that you've got to have in that position. Just many caps for his country. Played with Atalanta, Monaco recently, and before that, of course, Milan and Inter. Many years at Inter.
34 now, Vieri. Interestingly, his last appearance on Merseyside was not against Liverpool or Everton, as you might expect. It was against Tranmere Rovers in the Anglo-Italian Cup.
I'm amazed, really.
Don't ask me how I know that.
That's a great piece of trivia.
Playing for Venezia in the mid-90s. Lescott, whose versatility has really come to the fore recently. Moved to left back of his. Johnson, real skill from Andrew Johnson, who stays up, and it's there for the taking. Frey beating it away. A follow-up shot from Osman. Arteta, Everton knocking on the door, but Arteta's ball actually slams that door shut as Neville can't catch up.
Well, Johnson claims he was spilled over here, but really not. He left his own feet. He left his feet himself, diving in there and falling over eventually. Watch him turn here. Now look at him leave his feet here. He jumps. Yeah, and anticipating the challenge coming in from the right. I don't think they're going to give a penalty for that.
Minutes gone in this second leg tie from Goodison Park. It's a round of 16 in the UEFA Cup quarter-final places at stake tonight. Johnson is bundling through again against Frey. I think the flag had gone up in any case.
Yep, just marginally off there, but again, it's one of those situations where sometimes that's a low percentage opportunity. Other times, if a team is rocked as the Italians are at the moment, it can really turn into something out of nothing.
This is Kuzmanovic, Serbian midfielder who's been having an excellent season for Fiorentina. He's only 20. Falusi coming forward for almost the first time. The Czech fullback. 6 Italians in the starting 11 for Fiorentina. In contrast, 4 Englishmen for Everton. Andrew Johnson wasn't pulling out of that challenge. Crystal Palace and Birmingham City man. Ineffectual clearance results in the pressure being back on. It's Osvaldo. A little layoff for Jorgensen, and Fiorentina have their first corner of the evening.
Oh, some dodgy breakdown and defending there by Stephen Pienaar. I thought on the left side of midfield, he rather let that attack get by him with that much of a challenge for the ball and put his own teammates behind him under great pressure.
Oh, a goal from the visitors changes everything. Jorgensen, though, very disappointing delivery. Lee Carsley, the Irishman, the headed clearance with Jorgensen. Will be given take 2. Deeper this time, too deep.
Not had much to do in the match so far, has he, Jorgensen? He's been fairly quiet. He's been a little bit concerned about traffic going by him the other way. He's kept him conservative in his lending some support to the front players, mainly Vieri and Osvaldo. Jorgensen has been much more defensively minded.
Now Osman, was he tripped? He was, says Eric Bramhart, and he wants a word with Dainelli. Our first booking of the encounter.
Well, you could see his temperament beginning to get sharper and sharper, Dainelli. He's been a bit frustrated by the incredible physical challenge that Johnson is throwing at him, literally and metaphorically.
It's a tussle that's been simmering right from the word go. Now can Arteta deliver a moment of precise quality here? Oh, he put it just where he wanted to. And Phil Jagielka, the centre-back, disappointed he didn't steer this on target.
Oh, it's a delightful strike, though, right across the front of the defending as they go back to try to get in front of it. But Jagielka's run is magnificent, really. He does a terrific job with the timing of that run and getting inside not one but two defenders who are beaten by that run, and he just can't get it down. He needed it to flick it to the back post.
Jagielka released by Everton as a schoolboy, had to go off and ply his trade in the lower divisions with Sheffield United. And he came back to Everton this past summer. Pina. He's made a real impact too. Still officially on loan, season-long loan from Borussia Dortmund in Germany. Dink over the top, seeking out Jorgensen.
But after many years at Ajax, of course, to finish up the thought of Stephen Pernar, well, Jorgensen beginning to get himself about a bit there. Does think that perhaps he can find a little bit of room in behind the left situation. Julian Lescott is a very tough left-sided defender. But Pienaar at times can let his concentration lapse a bit in the defensive role, as he did just a moment ago.
Vieri losing out to the tough tackling Leon Osman.
Vieri's just sort of bludgeoning his way around there. You know, I think they could do better with a different player, frankly, up front. I mean, he's a good striker of the ball. Tons of experience, of course. But very static. Not much mobility at all. See, right there.
He's been used mainly off the bench this season in Serie A. Another full-blooded challenge. This time, Phil Neville was the victim. Delivo leaving the foot in. Leaving his name in referee Eric Bramhart's little black book. Hoisted free kick. Sebastian Frey springing out to claim it.
Well, the physical play has very much intimidated Fiorentina. It's got them rattled a little bit, no question. And 2 yellows as a result. A little bit of retaliation there by Montolivo. Dainelli, likewise, the frustration boiling over. But there's more of it to come, guys. There's an hour of it in store for. So, got to get that sorted in terms of temperament to playing away in England.
A chance perhaps here for Montolivo to measure his cross, and he did so. Jorgensen met it. Tim Howard stationed at the near post.
Look at Jorgensen's run there. He's going into the center now. Follow him there at the edge of the arc. Look, he comes in. He's totally unmarked because Carsley is the right-sided player. He didn't pick up the run from the left side. Nobody alerted the Everton defense of that little oblique curling run that Jorgensen contributed. Very heady stuff on his part, coming from the right side of midfield into that danger zone just at the arc. And luckily for Tim Howard, he was right in the right place. Jorgensen would put a bit more angle on that one, Adrian. It would have been 1-1.
Fiorentina appear at least to have ridden out that Everton storm surrounding the first goal of the night. Started to just ask a few subdued questions, shall we say. Yakubu hasn't really had an impact so far, the Nigerian. Main danger man. Osman. Clearance falling for Arteta. Johnson underneath it. Well, he felt it came off the defender last.
Looked like he was trying to flick that onto his partner here rather than go for goal. No, maybe not. Maybe he was going for goal. Pienaar made a good supporting run to help him out there. Oh, it's very poor passing from Fiorentina. It's been 34 minutes of play in which they have been really quite disappointing.
Now Yakubu. Chance to run for the Nigerian. Yakubu twisting and turning, and Sebastian Frey carrying it down low away to his left.
How did he miss it, Adrian? He did all the difficult work. He got himself set up beautifully for the shot, and then he shoots it straight at the keeper. He has all the left side of the goal yawning in front of him, and he plays it to the right side where the keeper plunges and has an easy save. Oh, that is a huge let-off for the visitors.
Comfortable take this time for Sebastian Frey, who immediately sets the visitors on their way. It's a strong run on this near side. Delivo. There's Yakubu.
Well, look how he prepares this shot here. Does extremely well. He's got to drag it back, turns the defender around, gets to the right side, and then sets up the shot, but goes to the near post. Now, a second defender did come across, and that may have taken the angle away from the far post, but that's where it really should have been going.
Ufalusi sees his cross met by Phil Neville. Now Everton to transition. Then a no-holds-barred challenge. Gambarini this time on Andrew Johnson.
And Gambarini gets up, though, and plays on. I like that very much. That's good stuff from Alessandro Gambarini. He was clattered into there by the lunge of Johnson. Cleared the ball away, got up, dusted himself off, got about playing. Good stuff.
Johnson, touch on for Yakubu. Yakubu trying to link with Osman. As Everton pump up the volume again.
Yeah, a bit indecisive, Yakubu, wasn't he? A bit slow to make up his mind what he was going to do there. He needed to turn faster. It took a while to get a look at goal. And by then, the defenders were flooding back to cut the angles on him.
Arteta with so many aerial weapons to aim for. Julian Lescott has scored 8 goals this season in all competitions as a defender. And it's Johnson who's underneath it. Well, he was leaning backwards and, as a result, couldn't keep his header down.
Well, this ball drops in the goal area. The goalkeeper decides to let it go. My goodness, that was a big decision on Frey's part. I thought that ball was playable. Maybe it was swerving a bit more. He didn't like the look of the shape of the curve on it, so to speak. But it really landed only about 5 yards from goal.
Infringement awarded against Phil Jagielka. Chance for Fiorentina to set out their stall from a free kick. Osvaldo, who wears number 9, has been noticeable by his absence so far tonight. The Argentine, well, Anderlecht really making a fight of it. Still got a long way to go, but they lead 2-1 now in Bavaria. They took so long in teeing up the free kick that it allowed Leon Osman to get in there and block it. Delivo seeking out Osvaldo with the cross.
It's a very good cross, but excellent positional play by Joseph Yobo there. Picked up the near run from Vieira. Oof. That's a dodgy bit of a challenge from Pienaar, but possession kept by the visitors.
For long as it transpired.
No, much too casual there by Osvaldo. Wasn't an attempt to chest pass it into a moving Vieira. but a moving Vieira is not exactly a blur these days. Ponderous in his movement. I just think that they need a bit more pace up front, an earlier pace. I wonder if it's second half we'll see Pazzini, even though he had all kinds of problems
Yobo.
on the weekend.
Forced to clear acrobatically, Joseph Yobo. Arteta back to Neville, who completes the job. Looking it over his head, hopefully. Crowd howling for a foul as he saw Yakubu lose out in the air, but play on again. Eric Bramhart. Andrew Johnson hoping to impress a certain watching Italian, Fabio Capello perhaps. Force his way back into the England reckoning. Does have 8 caps.
But no goals. Oh, that's a good piece of skill from Osvaldo.
Kuzmanovic scored Fiorentina's first effort in the tie in Florence, but the move peters out. Well, Everton have been tremendous at home, both in the league and in Europe this season. Their defeat in Florence ended 7 straight wins in the UEFA Cup. They won Group A very handily. Larissa, Nuremberg, Zenit St. Petersburg and AZ Alkmaar were the opposition. One of those sides from Group A, Zenit St. Petersburg, booked their spot in the quarter-final with a win earlier tonight against Marseille.
Well, a bit unlucky there, wasn't it? Kubu tried to play the ball through, a bit too much pace on it because he saw out of the corner of his eye Johnson going. Johnson didn't go, but then he stopped because he realized he's going to run into an offside situation as Yakubu waited for a split second. So they're just a bit off on their timing there. Fiorentina now launching a little bit more in the way of concerted numbers into the final third, looking for something just before halftime. Very important piece of play now here, this last 5 minutes. Dangerous play by Osman, obviously with a high boot. But this is where Everton got to be awfully careful. They've worked hard to get 1 goal. They really should have had 2. Fiorentina have had no chances. The last thing Everton want to do now is let them back into this thing with a crucial away goal.
Teeing up to strike from long distance. And Tim Howard seeing it sailing wide and not particularly handsome.
Yeah, well, Kuzmanovic may have seen out of the corner of his eye that flying booted challenge coming in from Johnson, and that is enough to put a little bit of fear and dread into you.
Neither of these sides have ever won the UEFA Cup. Both won a competition which doesn't exist anymore, the old Cup Winners' Cup. Everton more recently, 1985. Fiorentina all the way back in 1961. Their only European success. The final, remember, played just a matter of 25 miles down the road from here at the City of Manchester Stadium.
Excuse me, Carsley has, in your picture there, has had, I think, a very solid role in the middle of the park. Really, they've neutralized Donadel and Montalivo as midfield attacking possibilities.
Hard-working Osvaldo, almost taking advantage of the error from Jagielka.
Tremendous battling there by Johnson to come back and help out. In the end, Arteta can't keep it going.
Was an optimistic one from Jorgensen, hoping Vieri would be on the same wavelength. Inside the final 2 minutes of the half, Yakubu, and on to Johnson it goes.
Oh,
just as he was pulling the trigger.
I know, he wanted the extra stride, though. He needed to hit that ball. He didn't realize how fast he was being closed down. Oh, it was set up for a second for them there.
Carsley slicing it into the area as the rain absolutely teems down in Liverpool. Andrew Johnson, in the act of pulling the trigger, just allowed Gambarini to get in there and nullify the threat. Pinar shrugged off Falusi, and Johnson was the closest to exploiting the situation.
Throwing his shoulder or some other body part at it to try to get it on net, but that chance he had a moment ago, he may rue that one. Oh, look at this. There's space in which to play here.
Some numbers forward here for Fiorentina. Kuzmanovic. Delibo to Pasquale. Yobo is there to mop up. Can Yobo away, but Kuzmanovic turned it towards the penalty area. It's underneath the clearance too. It's worked out nicely. Into Vieira, but Lee Carsley digging in there like a terrier.
One additional minute, one added minute.
Just going to be one additional minute played. At the end of the half, Everton finishing on the front foot perhaps. Arteta across to Johnson. Andrew Johnson. Save, but the rebound is put home. It's not going to count. Yakubu was offside.
Oh, this is a lovely build-up here. Great run in there from Neville. What's his touch here? Now, keep an eye on Yakubu where he ends up as a shot is released. Yeah, he was definitely offside. And not to mention who was the other player in there as well?
Arteta, I believe.
Arteta, yeah, who served it back to him. They're both offside.
Andrew Johnson denied initially. And a save from Frey. And the first half ending with temperatures rising all around. Fiorentina at the moment clinging to their slender aggregate advantage. The free kick has found its way through to Vieri. Lescott simply refused to be second to that ball. Final whistle has gone. The players, so much noise at Goodison Park, the players didn't hear it, but it's half-time. Andrew Johnson's strike just past the quarter of an hour mark is what has given Everton real hope here of overturning this situation. He's a man who thoroughly enjoyed his last trip to England as well. Pazzini scored the first hat-trick at the new Wembley Stadium for the Italian under-21 side. Just exactly a year ago, and it's Pazzini who will get the second half underway. Fiorentina, knowing just a solitary strike for them could really give Everton a precipitous mountain to climb. They would then need 4 goals to progress. It would really change everything, and Fiorentina starting off in a hungry fashion. Donadell sweeping it out towards Pazzini, who will partner Osvaldo. Pazzini placing the ineffective Christian Vieri.
Yeah, I think it was about 40 minutes too late. I think Pazzini should have been on the park, really. Yes, he had a poor weekend, but, you know, I'm not so sure it's wise to punish a player that way. You give him a chance in a big theater, in a big occasion, and show some confidence in him. Vieri was really an absent, AWOL, essentially.
Well, Everton got what they wanted, the early goal. Just after the quarter of an hour mark. Dominated most of the first half without adding to their advantage.
Yeah, and even the 2-0, of course, all that guarantees is extra time. They want to get 3 to put it beyond reach, but they got to get 2 to have it even possibly go to extra time. And that may even be dreaded penalties.
And Stephen Pienaar appealing for the corner, and he gets his wishes. Courtesy of Thomas Ufalusi. And the first chance for Mikel Arteta to go to work in the second half. Forward comes Yobel. He's sure that Lescott will be joining him. Arteta's service geared towards the near post. Lescott was in the vicinity. He holds his head in his hands.
Well, apparently it was deflected off him because a corner is given. Yeah, captain was in there as well.
Oh, this time it's a real scramble. Sebastian Frey committed. Defenders to the rescue for him, and Fiorentina survive. Crossfield pass. Kuzmanovic taking his eye off the ball, but recovers just in time. Andrew Johnson's goal in the first half, incidentally, Everton's first in their history against Italian opposition. And he'd played 5 games previously and drawn a blank.
And this is the second corner, I think, being swept in here. Is it a handball? I don't think so. It was really off the hip and eventually cleared away. Donadell's hip.
A chance to provide Fiorentina with more cause for concern for set piece here. Arteta deciding just to keep possession and work it short. Stephen Pienaar. Goes to Osman. Looking menacing, but actually running into severe congestion.
I thought Osman did well there. He drew a lot of players to him. He didn't get much help from his teammates making some runs for him or pulling into some space. The result was that every time he looked up, the angles were blocked off. But he held the ball very nicely. Could very easily have squeezed his way through there. He's had a good game, Osman. I must say, we weren't sure he would play tonight.
And he passed a late fitness test, whereas Tim Cahill failed his. Arteta involved again. Jorgensen quickly on top of him. David Moyes, one of the most highly regarded young managers in the British game. His third time in Europe with Everton. They tasted the bitter pill of Champions League elimination in the qualifying stages a couple of seasons ago at the hands of Villarreal. Howard had to be careful, and was. Pasquale is the Fiorentina player involved. Here's Neville. Killed in for Yakubu. The duel won by Gambarini. Falusi rushing his clearance, and David Moyes pointing the way. Climbing. Yakubu is the culprit. All over Donadell.
Well, he will claim that Donadell didn't make a challenge to the ball and made it back for him. But these are difficult times for Fiorentina. 1-0 suits them fine, of course. Let's just remember that.
Cesar Prandelli. He's very nattily attired in purple. The Fiorentina coach. Broken here for Arteta. Neville cautiously forward in support, but it's Pienaar who chests on here for Osman. Now Yakubu. Is there a handball? It's broken for Pienaar. And Andrew Johnson. That's who he was trying to link with.
Too many red shirts back there, though. They've covered the angles well here. It falls nicely for Pienaar, but look at the good defending there. He's man marking Johnson, isn't he? Denel, but he also knows exactly where to go. Denelli, excuse me.
Arteta trying to prime the pump from the corner. He's done just that. Again, strong appeals for a handball. There were 3 or 4 Everton players. Their hands in the air. David Moyes looks disgusted.
There's the flick on here. Is there a handball? Well, there was indeed, but it was played right into him. It was a deflection into his elbow. I don't see how you can give a penalty for that. His arm did move, but he was taking his stride, and it suddenly deflected out of nowhere into his arm. And Moyes frustrated that they're getting no shots on goal out of this good possession.
Here can Fiorentina. Pazzini has done well. Pasquale on the move, but equally Stephen Pienaar, the South African, sliding into great effect. Montalivo. Oh, it's found its way through. Pazzini couldn't latch on. And the opportunity goes begging for Fiorentina. Cesar Prandelli, who as a player played in the final in 1985. The Heysel Stadium disaster. He was part of the Juventus squad who played against Liverpool in that game.
There's a different feel of the Fiorentina side in this half.
Pazzini is a lot of the reason for that.
I was just going to say, there's more pace up front. They can release the ball early. They can play it into space knowing he can run onto it. So they're forcing Everton defenders to check a little bit and to hold back a bit. And that's why Moyes trying to get them to go forward. They're being a little bit cautious now about gambling to go forward. And of course, that's exactly the kind of mentality that Fiorentina want them to take.
Lescott shrugging off Kuzmanovic. Linking with Andrew Johnson, who looks to turn. Final pass, just letting down the move eventually. Some of the wind out of the sails. This is Lescott. Falusi beaten to the ball by Carsley, who couldn't keep it in play.
Carsley needed a little bit of the subtle touch there. It's not really been high in his arsenal, I would say, the subtle touch. But it's just trying to keep it away from the defender and also keep it in play. Not easy. Crowd really buzzing here. You sense all this pressure building towards the inevitable goal, but the inevitable goal is not coming. And Fiorentina are looking more comfortable coming forward with the ball at their feet now. They're beginning to play a little bit more of a pacey game, and that's giving some cause for pause to some of the players in the middle of the park for Everton to go forward with quite such abandon.
Well, Everton only managed to keep a clean sheet once at home in 4 previous UEFA Cup games this season. It was against Zenit St. Petersburg. Lescott. Safety first, back to Jagielka, and in turn to Tim Howard. This has gone in favour of the Italians.
Well, they have been difficult to score on, certainly, and difficult to score on in the league, too. I mean, they've given 24 goals against, and the next team beneath them is Villa, and they're on 36. So tells you what it takes to be in the top 5. Ooh, mistake there.
Dangerous header by Jagielka.
Was Howard not calling him off? And even if he was, could it be heard?
Neville away. So Thunderous aerial challenges at the moment. And it's left a victim. I believe that's Osvaldo who's down. And Everton aren't hanging around, they're playing on. Neville down the line. Pasquale hooking it away. So back in towards the penalty area and back towards Yakubu. Felusi wondering why it's taken until now to get the ball out of play.
Well, if the player is holding his head, let's see, oh, he did get whacked in the head, and then there really is the referee's prerogative to stop play here. Yes, they don't want to mess around with head injuries and the potential danger therefrom. And he wasn't really faking it, I don't think.
And it is Osvaldo who's down. Osvaldo, who scored a memorable winner against Juventus just a couple of weeks ago, and then he was sent off for celebrating. Where's the number 9, just like another famous Argentine did for Fiorentina, Gabriel Batistuta. Cesar Prandelli, I mentioned he was part of the infamous Heysel final. And you know, the ban that followed that final, Seamus, for English clubs really affected Everton more than any other English side.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Really their period of dominance, those 2 league championships they won in England back in the mid to late 80s, they couldn't follow it up with excursions into the European Cup because of the ban.
Fans won't be happy to see that bit of a smile on the face of Osvaldo as he went off. It's not indicating that he got away with something, because you don't mess with head injuries, as I said. Corners have been tricky here. Frey has looked a bit shaky. Defense has not always been convincing either. Got away with an almost handball in one of them just a moment ago.
Arteta.
Ooh.
He varied the theme this time. He had been probing away at that near post area with his deliveries, but went far post. Unfortunately, none of his teammates did.
I know, and that was a big surprise, because you could see the hesitation of the goalkeeper, Frey, Sebastian Frey, hesitated to come for it. But in the end, I think it's probably because he thought it was going to swing out of play without a threat. There's the man whom the crowd has taken to be public enemy number 1 now with his alleged injury.
Arteta leaving the throw for Lescott. Kubu back to Arteta, who's there first. Didn't quite fall for Stephen Pienaar, away by Gambarini. Now, can Pienaar get there? He can't. No one is sitting here at Goodison Park. We have half an hour to play. The UEFA Cup tie that firmly hangs in the balance. The next goal, of course, will be so critical.
Yeah, it's a complete tie changer, whichever way it goes. For the visitors, it's going to be just an impossible battle to get all the goals that Everton would need. If Everton get it, then it's could be just a ding-dong final extra half hour if it comes to that. I've got to say, they're defending pretty well now, Fiorentina.
Managed to keep Yakubu fairly quiet. Oh, his cross met by the fist of Frey. And here's Jagielka. Fiorentina have managed to win most of the aerial duels defensively. And again, Everton working and striving.
Typical Carsley play, wasn't it, that? Ooh, heavy touch there that could pay the price.
Yobo has coughed it up. This is Pazzini on his way. Lescott doing the harrying. And then Jagielka was fouled by Pazzini. And there's going to be some action taken here, I think, by Eric Bramba.
He lost the ball. He lost his composure, frustrated, takes a yellow card. Third one for the visitors.
Disappointing restart from the home side's perspective from Tim Howard.
Yeah, that's the second bad ball he's struck from the goal area. And looking at Howard, he's had only one save to make after Jorgensen tested him a bit in the first half. That's been it for him.
And he's been enjoying a splendid campaign all around, though, the American stopper in his second season with Everton. Originally signed by Sir Alex Ferguson as what he thought was going to be the long-term successor to Peter Schmeichel. Plenty of goalkeepers trying to fill those boots and didn't quite manage it. Oh, Howard almost caught the foraging of Pablo Osvaldo.
Yeah, he's a bit slow coming off the line there. I think he underestimated the pace of Osvaldo. Luckily, didn't pay a severe price for it.
Don't forget our new website, all the scores from around the world in one place. That's scorecenter.com. Handball against Montalivo was the verdict. Now some space for Phil Neville to settle. Arteta takes over. There's two for company. Gets it back rather fortuitously. Andrew Johnson. Yakubu is there. And the Nigerian pirouetting inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, he does very well here to get to this ball at all. It slips through to him, and he's got to turn and get the shot on goal, but Gambarini is right on top of him and stuffs it.
It's the corner. Lescott was the intended target. Dainelli happy to concede another. Arteta setting out his stall once more.
Ooh. Twice now he's tried that short driven ball. Doesn't look like coming off.
And then again from open play, this time the slice clearance lands at the feet of Stephen Pienaar. Johnson trying to turn, he just coughed it up to Dainelli, who leads the breakout for Fiorentina. A little over-ambitious though with the final pass.
Yeah, unnecessary too. He got plenty of time there, Kuzmanovic, to pick his time, hold possession.
Parsley running into trouble, but he had the last say in the matter, didn't he?
Yeah. He was obstructed on his way to follow up his touch, and the referee saw that. Toiled away for years at Coventry and Blackburn. Really has landed very nicely here for Everton, but frustration, I think, is building for David Moyes. He's got to be thinking about those chances that weren't put away in the first half, particularly Yakubu's, when he brilliantly set himself up with plenty of goal to look at, and then just drove it right at the goalkeeper, Sebastian Frey.
Well, the stakes are cracked higher and higher here. As one mistake could be absolutely critical. Donadell. And again, the ex-Sampdoria and Milan man does well to find Kuzmanovic. Back to Donadell, but Yakubu tracking back and foraging for the ball successfully. Now Arteta. Plenty of open space in front of him. Mikel Arteta! What a strike from the Spanish midfielder. Just his second goal of the season, and what a time to deliver it. Everton have hauled themselves level.
Incredible strike from Arteta. Look at 6 players get back. I was just counting them. 6 are back in front of them, but they all conspire to give him way too much space. Nobody really closes him down, and he whistles it inside the post. A wonderful drive across the body of 2 players and inside the far post. Fantastic drive after Fiorentina made the mistake of not closing him down. And you have to think about it. It's the first long-range shot of the match, because Everton had done so much lobbing and chipping into the box, so much trying to get into knockdowns and so forth. They may have lured Fiorentina into thinking that that was what was coming next. Instead, it was Arteta taking the game into his own hands and saying, okay, I'm going to get this one. We're not getting it from the front players. Try this one on. Bang, 2-2 in aggregate.
Well, he was allowed to run fully 40 yards, wasn't he, unchallenged, and then from 30 yards out, he's hit the sweetest imaginable strike. And you know, Seamus, he's a player who produced so many big goals last season for Everton. Hasn't been the same this campaign. Just 1 goal prior to tonight. He's had injuries to contend with. Times losing his place to the likes of Osman and Cahill. But he is just as important to this Everton side as another Spaniard, Cesc Fabregas, is to Arsenal.
Wow, that was really one for the ages. A great strike, and coming as it did. We're going to take another look at it here. You can see he's fully determined to respond. If he gets this kind of space, we've seen him do it, as you said, in the past years. You give a kind of a player of this quality that much space, then you pay the price. And it's interesting because that was the kind of goal that Fiorentina scored in the 2-0 at the other end, in the other leg. Kuzmanovic hit a rasper from outside the box, inside the post to Howard's immediate right, or left rather, and then Montolivo did the same thing 10 minutes later.
Well, having dug themselves a hole in Florence, they've clambered out of that hole now. It's a level playing field, and these 2 teams are standing on. In the final quarter of the game, they'll decide who progresses to the quarter-final.
Well, the question in everybody's mind now is, can they get a third before the 90? Because if not, they face another 30 grueling minutes. And you would have to say that would be harder on them than it would be on Fiorentina, who paced themselves rather in the first half. Picked it up a little bit here with the arrival of Pazzini, and therefore changing the kind of team pace that goes with him. But even so, the burden will be on how much heart and how much is left in the legs of Everton for an additional half hour if it's required.
Well, plenty of heart and legs shown there by Andrew Johnson.
Well, they thought it was a goal kick. Fiorentina did this in fact go out? No, he saved it.
Was made locally before kick-off for the fact that Everton hadn't overturned a first-leg deficit in a cup tie of any sort since 1993. Here they are, just 1 goal away from doing that. Last time they managed it was in the League Cup against Rotherham. Rather a different sort of...
Oh, you're full of Rotherham and Transmere stories tonight. I'm very impressed. I know you'll be delighted to hear that Morecambe have gone ahead of Accrington Stanley 2-1.
That's the news I've been waiting for. Arteta. Oh, it's there! No! Unbelievably. It looked for all the world as though the third goal had arrived as Sebastian Frey performing heroics to keep it out. I don't know how much he knew about it. Arteta. Nice change of angle. It's a slash clearance. Fiorentina are wobbling defensively at the moment. The cross is a deep one, and Frey has to elevate to keep out Yakubu. Can Fiorentina launch any sort of menacing counter-attack? That bid is halted by the foul, but Sebastian Frey Pulled into action again.
Well, he saved them twice, hasn't he? That's a great save, because that was going far post. This is a beautiful driven header. And there, what about this one? He's got to have an instinctive lunge for it. I think it was Lescott who may have got a touch there, or perhaps a defender. Or Yobo, I should say. Rather, it was Yobo.
I don't know how much Yobo knew about it, Seamus,
right.
but came off his knee. Sebastian Frey managed to respond.
So questions about Frey on the first goal, but he certainly saved them in the last 5 minutes twice.
Everton come pouring forward again. Arteta. It spied Yakubu in a little pocket of space. Very ragged-looking Fiorentina defence at the moment, just happy to scramble it away.
Great low ball play there towards Stephen Pienaar. Did not react to it fast enough. Yes, it was a bit awkward, but he did not get off his heels and get after it there. I noticed that about him a couple of times in this match. Just a little bit of giving up on the ball too early.
Lescott feeding Yakubu. Trying to square it across the face of goal for Johnson. Wins a corner kick in the process.
Yeah, it's good, isn't he, Yakubu, dropping off there. That's caused some problems because the back four are standing still in a kind of a zonal situation, but somebody's got to go chase him if he drops off like that, and that's what Gambrin's complaining about.
Back to the near post script for the corner from Arteta. Osman always arches way through. Lescott can't produce any real menace in the final product. Fiorentina defenders at the moment will just be grateful for any bit of respite that comes their way, and they have plenty of that now as Joseph Yoba becomes the first Everton player to be booked tonight.
Well, and that's not good news because it means he misses the next game in this championship should they go on.
And it's also provided Tim Howard with some potential work here as Donadell and Montalivo are standing over this. Looks as though it's going to be Marco Donadell. Here's Montalivo. Not one to forget.
Yeah.
Scored the all-important second in the first leg in Florence. But Fiorentina getting their goals in the last 20 minutes of that one.
Yeah, that time it was a cracking volley when Everton had committed some players forward. He was parked outside the edge of the area, ran onto it and just whistled it straight on the volley inside the post, the near post to Tim Howard. He just couldn't get to it. As I said, Howard had made some great saves to keep them in the match. But it was a lackluster performance by Everton.
Yakubu.
Unlike tonight, my goodness, they have responded to that poor performance in Florence. They have really put on a show tonight of enterprise, of some good skill, of some terrific determination, great work rate, and absolute wonderful strike by Arteta.
Quarter of an hour to go. The side in 5th place in the English Premier League. And the side in 4th place in the Italian Serie A are deadlocked. 2 apiece on aggregate. And it's almost certainly a case of next goal wins now. Dainelli. Clearance made and picked up by Arteta. He's in trouble though and has coughed it up. Montalivo. Oh, serving it in, and Howard forced to react for almost the first time tonight.
Well, and that makes it all the more impressive, really. It was a beautifully driven, flashing header here. And he was in a good position just to safely touch it over the top. but a bad giveaway by Arteta that allowed that cross to be served up in the first place to Pazzini.
It's a Fiorentina flurry here and another free header. What a chance for Dane Ellie.
Oh, and he knows it. He knows he was in exactly the right position. The marking was a bit loose. He may have felt it was tight enough, but he just physically outmuscles his opponent there to get the header in. Oof. Might have been nudged just enough to knock him off stride a bit there, but the determination was impressive.
So a reprieve for Everton. Might have seen all their good work undone there. This is Pinar.
Oh,
Just beyond Johnson. Lunged at it.
yeah. A little bit wider run, and he would have been there for a diving header. He's in nice and tight here, but you see he's got to get a little bit further back. It's a terrific cross, really, from Pinar. Just a bit too good for everybody. What a wonderful second half this has been, too. Fiorentina came out to play a bit and looked like they were going to maybe make a contribution in the goals department. And more squandered chances from close in by the home side. And then this fantastic strike to lift spirits. And now the only question is, will 12 minutes, 13 minutes be enough for them to get a third and win it outright?
Pinar was getting set for the throw, but was told the decision was going the other way. Fiorentina prior to this have been unbeaten in all 4 of their UEFA Cup games away from home this season. Managed draws against Villarreal, AEK and Groningen. Yeah, won 3-1 on aggregate against Rosenborg in the last round. Well, Everton were taking care of Brann of Norway.
Taking care. And then some, wasn't it? 8-1 was it finally in aggregate, something like that?
Yeah, including a 6-1 win here, which was their biggest ever win in European football. Just one more is what they need here. Arteta fighting it deep.
Oh,
And an amazing header off his own line by Kuzmanovic, I believe. It was under severe duress.
how did he manage to get this out from under the crossbar? A teasing ball beats everybody, goalkeeper included. Well, he was about a yard out in front of it, then he crashes into the goalpost. That's why he hurt his back.
It was Ufalusi who did it. In the corner. Again targeting the near post area. Picked up by Pinar. Arteta had started to run into space and then checked his run.
Signore e signori tifosi della Fiorentina, per la vostra sicurezza.
Bit strange decision on Pinar's part. There, I think he tried to sort of dink it with the outside of the right boot over the top, that it would fall gently for the run of Arteta. Instead, he really got it in the center of the boot and just spooned it out of play.
Deep cross flicked on to Martin Jorgensen and a rush of adrenaline.
Yeah, bad decision, wasn't it, really? He had some time here. They're in trouble here. There's some open shirts here. He decides he better get it in quickly because he's about to be closed down, but really he didn't have quite to rush it the way he did.
Arteta was left in a heap there by Pasquale.
Sure was. I must say they've done a very good job, Everton, on play around the touchline and end lines. They've never given up on anything. They've kept it in play, with one exception of Johnson or Pinar not being able to follow up a ball on the right. But other than that, they've done extremely well. Their energy level has been phenomenal.
Now Yakubu trying to turn away. Mini wrestling match there on the edge of the area. Yakubu and Gambarini.
This is a great little flick on to keep this going here. Isn't that lovely? Traps it down sort of with a trap and drag at the same time. It's just a little bit too hard.
Now give away at the back for Jorgensen. Ufalusi's cross repelled by Yobo, and now Andrew Johnson brings it out for Everton. He took on two and then a third.
Yeah,
Fiorentina defender.
And he knew what was coming there. He knew he was about to be hit hard, but he doesn't know what hit hard means. He's such a tough player, Johnson.
Yobo. Finding Yakubu. And Everton have themselves a corner. And anywhere will do, sort of clearance from Dainelli.
Yeah, they've had a ton of corners, and you've got to wonder if one of these will finally pay off. They've been so dangerous for the most part, particularly when they're hit with a swerve in the air.
Teto. He found his target at the near post. It was Jagielka. Jagielka, 8 years with Sheffield United, toiling away primarily in the second flight of English football. Are we going to see Victor Anichibi, the young Nigerian, come on? He's been a super sub for Everton in this competition throughout the season. Again, David Moyes yet to make a change here. Away from Jagielka.
Well, he's got to be thinking about 30 minutes of extra time, and when do you make the changes? Only one change in this game so far, and that was Pazzini at halftime coming in for Vieri.
Neville seeking out Johnson. Carsley's in to pick up the pieces. Yakubu trying to cushion it through for Pinar. Ufalusi and Gambarini mopping up to good effect.
They bring on a striker. I wonder who would come off. I'm not so sure you take off a midfield player and add a third striker at this point. It's a little bit, you know, you've got a little bit more room in which to play. You don't need quite to do that. But do you take off Johnson? Johnson gives you so much work. And it's really caused all kinds of trouble to the back four.
As you saw, plenty of travelling support from Florence here as well, wondering if their side can cling on here. Fiorentina visiting England for just the third time in the club's history. Finding Lescott, who's forced out of the area and into a bit of a blind alley. Teta working so hard to stave off a couple of opponents. Pinar's cross, and there were plenty of willing takers. Yakubu was the man to meet it.
Yeah, he's in a good position here. He's not really marked very tightly now. He is, but the ball is played towards him, and he can't just skillfully flick it to the back post. That is such an important piece of skill for a front player, to be able to change that direction as he was trying to do, but at the same time get enough lift on it that it goes over the keeper.
Yakubu scored a hat-trick at that 6-1 win against Brann we mentioned a few moments ago in the last round. And in doing so, he became the first Everton player to score a hat-trick in Europe since Andy Gray managed it back in 1985.
Well, speaking of hat-tricks, Frank Lampard has one. Today, a penalty and two goals, and in 66th minute, they lead 5-0 against Derby County.
Minutes remaining at Goodison. It's the free kick. It was Jagielka. Very careful header away, retrieved by Jorgensen. Follow-up cross met by Carsley. And it goes out for a throw. I tell you that Dimitar Berbatov has scored for Spurs.
Wow.
Leveled matters against PSV, so two English sides potentially looking at extra time.
Yeah, Berbatov in the 81st minute.
confirmation of that scoreline. I remember Spurs losing the home leg to PSV by 1-0. This is Arteta. Just delayed releasing Neville on the overlap. Neville and Arteta. Cleverly done. Neville in some space. Johnson. Quite to get on the end of the cross. Safely back to Tim Howard. Another Everton surge. Oh, Yakubu shrugging off the first defender and then rather flailing. He is going to be booked, it appears, for this. He got there in front of Dainelli, hadn't he? But the ball was clearly Sebastian Frey's at that stage. And down went Yakubu.
Yeah, I don't like to see that. Good decision by the referee, who's frankly not put a foot wrong really tonight. Oof.
Zini and
That was
Osvaldo
close.
almost managing to pierce the Everton defensive armour.
Well, there's no rarity we haven't seen in a while on offside. Teams have been very disciplined, both of them, in staying in the onside position. This is just the absolute nail-biting part of this game here for the home side in particular. They've worked so hard to get back into it. They've done what they needed to do minimally. And now the last thing they want to do is give all that work away. And with 30 minutes of extra time looming for them to win it then, or at least through the penalties. But it's given us just the kind of match we were hoping for, isn't it, Adrian? We were saying before the game, this could really be a storming, wonderful night in Liverpool, the city of Liverpool in Europe, which is in both stadia given us so many fabulous evenings, and this is very definitely one of them.
And certainly Everton redressing the balance on the score sheet and the manner of in which they've played. Felt they let themselves down in Florence a week ago. Fiorentina took full advantage and came here with the 2-goal cushion, but knowing it would be a very different sort of night. That's exactly how it's transpired. And now it's all eyes on watches, and in particular the watch of Eric Brandbar. As we wonder how much stoppage time will be allotted.
I think he's given a yellow to Gambarini for delaying, for unsportsmanlike conduct, delaying the game. Yep.
Johnson.
An additional 3 minutes of added time.
The PA announcer with the verdict in terms of stoppage time. 3 minutes. 3 minutes in which to get the job done. Or a further 30 minutes. Beckoning. And again, the ball kicked away. Everton players unhappy with the delay. As Leon Osman was upended.
Yeah. Did well, though, didn't he? He's fantastic. Pasquale kicks the ball away in a moment of anger, but the referee allows play on. So half a minute into the 3. Could they snatch something at the death here? Arteta, always the craftsman in these situations.
He's delivered something very tasty, and the header is just the wrong side of the post from Yakubu. He's had a couple of opportunities in the air, hasn't he, Yakubu?
Oh, well, this is a delightfully driven ball. Goalkeeper's frozen on the line. Can't come for that one. It's really a question of who wants it more, who goes for it. They defend well here. Yakubu 1 against 2. is the winner in that contest. Just the accuracy of his heading is lacking, really. That's been a bit of a downfall for him. Maybe we should try to get his nose on it, the way Johnson did.
As you saw, Getafe have gone ahead of Benfica on the night. Aside from the suburbs of Madrid. Look good for a quarter-final spot.
Well, good news for Derby County fans, they've scored. The bad news is that Chelsea have scored again.
6-1 now.
6-1. Lampard with 4 goals. Joe Cole and Kalou with the other 2s, and Jones for Derby County.
Lescott trying to get underneath the long free kick. Osvaldo coming off second best to Carsley. A lot of players have suffered that fate tonight. All hands on deck, just trying to get hold of the ball, and Osvaldo all over Carsley there.
Yeah, but you saw Carsley's reaction. I love this. He very definitely plows into Carsley. Carsley goes down, then stands up, offers a hand, pulls him up. Total composure on Carsley's part. Very savvy player with just 20 seconds left.
Arteta has given Pienaar the stage to work with. He's crowded out, though, by Martin Jorgensen. Fiorentina just clinging on for this final whistle here. Everton need to act quickly to hoist the ball into the area one last time. Well, they've run out of time, and we are indeed looking at extra time. 30 minutes further will be required at Goodison Park to separate these two sides. Everton 5th place in the Premier League, Fiorentina 4th place in Serie A, and it's as tight as the league standings perhaps suggested it would be. 2-2 on aggregate. We'll be back to try and sort out matters in a further 30 minutes after this. It appears as though Fiorentina have made another switch right at the start of this extra time period. Massimo Gobi being thrown on. He's very much a defensive midfielder. We'll try and tidy up that substitution for you as soon as we can, but we're underway. Fiorentina back to kicking from left to right as they were in the first half of normal time. And so far we've seen Zenit St. Petersburg and Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich get through to the quarterfinals. Which one of these sides will be joining them? Kuzmanovic was the man who made way.
Yeah, you know, I'm not too surprised about that. I was just looking at my list and saying, who could it be? And I thought he had a fairly anonymous 90 minutes, really. Kuzmanovic, of course, we may be expecting too much of him after his heroics in the first leg. But he played a fairly subdued match. Didn't add much in the way of front play. But then very few of them did in the first half themselves. Now, I see Gobi be under pressure here.
Free kick. Dainelli struggling to clear his lines, but did so. Loose ball hunted down by Steven Pienaar. Arteta for some improvisation. And groan goes around Goodison as the decision goes against Everton. Just confirmation of Anderlecht winning on the night in Bavaria, which is no mean feat, but Bayern Munich through comfortably on aggregate. Free kick nodded out by Osman. Up goes Yobo. Osvaldo going to work on the edge of the Everton penalty area, and well, his over-elaboration almost paid off as Pazzini was allowed to latch on to that pass.
Wow, what was Yobo doing and letting the ball go through? It's absolute brain collapse there.
It's Lescott on the move. Yakubu is the outlet. Ufalusi matching him stride for stride. Tentative early stages of extra time. Such a precarious position for both sides, really. Pina flicked on by Johnson. Long booming clearance from one goalkeeper to the other. Fiorentina, in their previous visits to England, were both in the Champions League. Back in 2000, they won by a goal to nil at Arsenal. That was when Arsenal played their home games at Wembley. And they also lost 3-1 on a trip to Old Trafford against Manchester United. Now this is Pazzini. Well, he looked to have the better of Jagielka for just a few moments there. Jagielka doing just enough to put off Pazzini, it appeared. May have got a boot on the finger as well for his troubles.
Well, there's the threat of Pazzini that we talked about when he came in at the 46-minute mark. That pace to break away from Jagielka or anybody else in the back four, really. That threat that was never posed by Vieira in the first place, in the first half, Vieri, excuse me. Oh, there's so many tired legs out there. Who've got the reserves here, and when do you start bringing some people in? Got to be what David Moyes got to be thinking of. 2 substitutes for the visitors, none for the home side.
Now Yakubu spinning and shielding. Lescott into the build-up. It was a good-looking pass from Lescott, just trapped under the feet there of Steven Pienaar.
Oh, it was so good. It was so unexpected. He looked like Pienaar looked like he was going to make the wide run, but instead it was played nicely inside to him.
It looks as though David Moyes is preparing his first change of the evening. Yakubu jumped by Dainelli. Lescott signed a new long-term deal with the club this week. Steven Pienaar persuading Ufalusi to concede a corner. Yobo making his way forward. Arteta being deliberate in the placement of the ball. Looking to serve in something very tasty. And that went near post. Yobo failing in his bid to keep it alive on the far side.
Yeah, not the most illustrious of passes from Phil Neville there.
An extra time with those aching limbs. It almost becomes a mental battle as much as a physical one, Seamus.
Yeah, well, certainly there's but the tired legs in the middle of the park for Everton got to be a fact of life at the moment. Carsley has worked so hard, Osman in particular. You would think that's where the changes might be coming. Certainly not going to take out a defender, I don't think, at this point.
Yakubu is deceived by the bounce.
Very comfortable from Jagielka.
Sebastian Frey with Andrew Johnson bearing down on him. Jagielka again, willing Pienaar to move on. And he is matched again by Thomas Ufalusi. He'll be playing for the Czech Republic in Euro 2008 this summer. From Jagielka, Lescott is there to lend assistance. Yobo had to be precise.
And sharpen his run too. He's under pressure from Pazzini. Continues to be a bit of a thorn in the skin there of the defense.
Pazzini pleading for a yellow card.
Well, he knows what they're like. He got one himself, having barely been on the park. But he's definitely put some threat into him. But there's some good technical ability in the back four for Everton. The players are comfortable in the ball. Ironically, Phil Neville probably the least so of the four, but Lescott is wonderful to watch, and Jagielka likewise very comfortable.
Montolivo to serve in the free kick. It's Dainelli that won the initial header. He's looking to pick up the pieces himself. Lescott, very cool and calm.
Well, speaking of technical defenders, what about that piece of skill from Dainelli? Right there, we're seeing the tail end of it, but he hooked the ball away beautifully to create some space for himself, and this is nicely done by Lescott. No real urge on the part of Pazzini to mix it up with him there. Try to win it from him.
It's been ever present this season, Jolyon Lescott. In the Premier League, he started every game except one.
Set.
Johnson ended up on the ground, but there was no foul. And some scurrying midfield work from Massimo Golbi, but it comes to nothing.
Ooh. Neville took his time, and that tempted Jorgensen to make the challenge, but he made it too late. Let's see if there is contact here. No, there isn't. Really, he takes a boot in the stomach in the follow-through, and that causes the ex-England man to lose his balance and fall over, but Jorgensen did not spill him over really at all, and gets really an inappropriate yellow.
The fifth Fiorentina booking of the game.
Jorgensen had a big role in the match in Florence, along with Osvaldo. They were very effective against Everton. But a bit less so tonight. Jorgensen had one good shooting opportunity, perhaps the only really good one of the first half of Fiorentina. Osvaldo has been fairly anonymous in the second half and into extra time.
Oh, it's broken here for Johnson. And now Yakubu for Everton. Great tackle. What a tackle that was from Ufalusi. The danger not removed, though. It's Pienaar.
Oh. It's offside.
Well, is that the chance that got away, thinks David Moyes. It wasn't offside, you know.
No, he wasn't. There were other players in central positions who were offside, but the ball did not go to them or anywhere near them, really. It was lofted wide left to Pienaar. He did very well to hold up his run. Credit him with that, but the referee's assistant got it wrong. But what a tackle from Ufalusi. Not to commit the foul there, to be brave, to go in and just take the risk he had to take. Very, very well done.
It's the first glimmer of an opening in extra time for Yakubu and Johnson. Ufalusi again involved, sliding in at the feet of Jolyon Lescott. Jagielka all over Pazzini.
Yeah, they know they've got to prevent Pazzini from turning on them, coming up hard behind him if he shows them a glimpse of the ball, they've got to reach in and snatch it away and not allow him to turn and get going.
Arteta to Pienaar. Gets it back. Dinks it through for Yakubu. Jorgensen played his part in closing down the Nigerian striker. Look at that. That has to go down as an upset, doesn't it? Getafe ousted Benfica. The little Spanish club have been punching above their weight, really, in the Spanish Primera for 2 or 3 seasons, and now in the quarter-finals of the UEFA Cup. Can Everton join them? Yakubu trying to put them there, and might do so!
Oh.
Well, left-footed after a wonderful weaving run. He only succeeded in scooping it over the bar.
They don't go for it. Great flick on from Johnson, but they're afraid to go in and challenge him here, but they've got to do a little bit better. He sets himself up nicely, doesn't he? His weaving run is terrific there. His little way he dips his shoulder creates a bit of deception, and he set up the left foot beautifully, but then he just scooped it over the top. Countless chances that Everton have had.
Kubu turning it away again, but to no avail.
Well, what must be the thought tonight, Adrian, of the Getafe ex-coach?
Bernd Schuster.
Currently at Real Madrid and out of the Champions League.
Just inside the last couple of minutes of this first period of extra time. Two sides going at it hammer and tongs, neither giving an inch in their bid for European glory.
Yeah, and truth to be told, that man Howard has had nothing to do, really. One very good save, a shot from Jorgensen, and really that's about it. And there was a second save where he tipped it over the crossbar late in the second half from the wonderful header.
Some tired-looking approach work there from Fiorentina.
Speaking of tiredness, you really wonder. First period of extra time just about gone. Still no changes from David Moyes.
Now he'd love to have Tim Cahill to turn to, but not an option for him tonight. Gravison, Victor Anichebe, Leighton Baines, Tony Hibbert are the outfielders available.
Look at the foul throw. That's what the crowd was screaming.
The first 15 minutes of extra time has come and gone, and still the issue remains a murky one here. 2-0 on the night, 2-2 on aggregate, and now the looming spectre. Penalty kicks, and you wonder right now if Fiorentina were offered them, Seamus, would they take penalties?
Yeah, they've really offered very little in the way of threat. They've defended extremely well. They've been a bit lucky a few times, and Everton have been out of luck, and their own finishing has let them down.
Fiorentina. Most recently in a final back in 1990 in the UEFA Cup when they lost to Juventus. And here is the switch we've been waiting for, perhaps. Victor Anichebe comes on, the young Nigerian who's really made a name for himself in this competition this season. He scored 4 goals in the UEFA Cup, all of them coming off the bench, and he's actually Everton's top scorer in the UEFA Cup, and just one behind their all-time European record in a season set by Andy Gray.
Well, meanwhile, Jorgensen has gone off. Trying to see who replaced him. It was actually Mario Alberto Santana.
Anichebe replacing Pienaar. So it's certainly an adventurous switch. And Jorgensen for Santana. It's pretty much like for like. Although the Argentine will have to be watched carefully by Everton. Santana possesses a bundle load of pace. Well, don't forget Sports Centre. All the news and views, results and reactions as they happened around the wide world of sports, and special local editions for you watching in various parts of the world as well. ESPN Soccernet.com is the place to go for all the details. Sports Centre, each and every evening right here on ESPN. Sorry for the interruption in our coverage here. It's gripping UEFA Cup round of 16 second leg, and this is what the scoreboard looks like. Another game that's gone into extra time. PSV Eindhoven taking on Spurs, and Spurs with that 1-0 first leg lead, or 1-0 first leg deficit, sorry, and for level matters, they left it right until the end. Dimitar Berbatov's goal after 81 minutes, enough to take that tie into extra time.
Yep, and as you mentioned, Getafe, wonderful win for them, knocking out Benfica. Benfica obviously struggling a great deal. Coach quit after they could not be to the bottom side in the division on the weekend. So they're definitely a club in crisis given their tradition and expectation. Going out to Getafe. Other big matches yet to hear from as well in Germany and also in Portugal.
Well, we'll take a quick break and try and redress the problems with the pictures here. Again, we do apologise for the interruption in our coverage. Forget scorecenter.com, and some of the results from around the world of football include Chelsea's hammering of Derby County by 6-1, 4 goals for Frank Lampard. A little earlier on this evening, Villa held 1-1 by Middlesbrough. I'm glad to welcome you back to Goodison Park. Again, apologies for the break in our coverage. You didn't miss anything. Still finally poised here. Everton 2, Fiorentina 0, 2-2 on aggregate.
It's easy for you to say. Everton fans are dying. Fiorentina fans are leaping off their porches.
That's the side from Florence. We're doing the pressing at the moment. Mario Santana just introduced the Argentine family with Palermo. Now Johnson with the Yakubu available. It's Andrew Johnson who squared it, and then a ricochet which worked out to Fiorentina's advantage.
Oh, that was it right there. That was the chance to win it. Johnson took a bad first touch. He took a wide touch away from goal. Made it a little bit difficult for him to get it on target. And then seeing that the angle was so wide for the shot, he tried to play it in, but then it was too late. Watch his first touch here. See, and he's pulled it wide. Might have been offside too. Yakubu, that is. Was it Yakubu? I'm not sure it was Yakubu actually made the runner. And Achebe.
And Achebe was in the vicinity as well.
Yep.
Victor Achebe with 7 goals in total off the bench this season. That's just one short of the Everton record held by Duncan Ferguson. It's that sort of night where Big Dunk would have been in his element.
Right.
Out comes Tim Howard. Coming neatly to the edge of his area. The tension is unrelenting here. Montalivo. Santana looking to latch onto the loose ball. He's hurried to do so. I have too much of Jolyon Lescott. Kubu was the target. It glanced off the head of Dane Alley. Everton crowd respond again. Genuine chances have really been at a premium in this extra time period. Just the one really for Yakubu and Johnson. Osman was tripped.
And not for the first time, but this is a dangerous tactic to give away free kicks around the edge of the area with the likes of Arteta up there to swerve these balls in that frees Sebastian Frey on the line. Causes a lot of trouble for the back tall players who've been good.
Arteta.
Well, he bails them out.
He's encouraged by the run that Jolyon Lescott was making and trying to connect with him. You just wonder, Seamus, with what we saw last week in the Champions League and those two ties that went to penalties. And as it turned out, it was the away side on both occasions who prevailed, and you wonder about the pressures involved. Penalty kick shootouts actually working in favour of the away side. Sure, thoughts like that are a million miles from David Moyes' mind.
Right, yeah, but it's only 7.5 minutes away from that exact scenario. He already will have sorted out the order of the shooters. It looks like it's heading that way in Holland as well. Still same score, 1-0 in favour of Tottenham.
Oh, Yobo. Full stretch, able to recover. And Yakubu bowled over. It's been a terrific form since returning from the African Nations Cup. Yakubu. Pascual. Second time of asking away from Neville, but to Gobi. This is promising for Fiorentina. Ufalusi eventually running into resistance from Jagielka. Great flick on from Panzini. Santana is there. And Tim Howard able to deal with the cross.
They're essentially playing for penalties here, I think. Fiorentina looking for a fast break, but getting the players back that they need to have extra men around as much as possible. And you can see up there, 5 players back against 3. Ufalusi came forward in that attack just a minute ago. That was a bit more risky than I would have suspected.
Neville touched on by Chabi. A little more than 5 minutes remaining at Goodison Park. Still nothing separating these two famous old sides. Neville. Arteta. Fiorentina really defended ferociously in this extra time period.
Yep, we've got 8 behind the ball here.
Neville trying to open them up with the delivery, but pushing off was Victor Anichebe. Only 19. This is promising for Fiorentina just for a moment. Jagielka got across. It looked as though Osvaldo was going to be threatening.
Yeah, it looked like he might have been able to take advantage of a confusion between 2 defenders, but we weren't about to let it down now. Well, that's good shielding of the ball, though. Very good work at the back. Very composed stuff. This is not a team that gets rattled. I must say, you got to give credit to Fiorentina with how they played. Okay, they've given up 2 goals, which they didn't need to do. Gamberini and Pinelli, though, at the back, they have really been very solid. And there's just that one mistake from the goalkeeper, and then the long-range effort that has been their undoing.
Just a miscue from Anichibi and Mikel Arteta. Tempers rising just on the far side as time continues to tick down. Santana providing the thrust and earning a corner for the visitors.
Very, very cagey, Fiorentina. Defend in numbers, and then take your chances with the counterattacks and set pieces. And now, can they upset the apple cart here?
Santana almost breaks inside the area. Still might for Dainelli. The header down. And easily gathered by Howard, who's in a hurry to set Anichibi on his way. Marco Donadel is across to stymie that threat, and then the cross is removed by Pasquale. Vague appeals for a free kick, not held by Eric Brandmar.
Well, Vieri's off the park. He, I think, might have been one of the penalty takers. If it comes to penalties, and maybe not.
This is Pazzini. Gianpaolo Pazzini. He's close here to putting a dagger into the heart of Everton.
Well, he does very well, doesn't he, getting inside with that shot away. Yobo is in all kinds of trouble. Pazzini is so quick of foot. And he's set inside very nicely to get that shot set up while Yobo was just trying to stay with him. Yobo, of course, very, very tired. Pazzini much fresher.
Up goes Jagielka. Winning the header against Osvaldo. It's Yakubu on the move. That was Anichibi, actually, and it's just a hint of the explosive power he's produced in the UEFA Cup this season so far.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence, too. He went for it.
Not a bad warrior to turn to in a time of need, is it? Thomas Gravesen coming on.
Might be... Wow. Well, he's not going to be taking a penalty then. That's what you think of at this point, is he putting on a penalty taker?
Yeah, you would have thought Andrew Johnson would have been key amongst the potential penalty takers. It's Thomas Gravesen. That spell away from Everton with Real Madrid, of course. Also a former Celtic man. Chance for one more hurried attempt before the final whistle arrives, and it looks as though we're going to penalties here at Goodison Park. There it is. Well, 180 minutes plus an extra 30 couldn't separate these English and Italian heavyweights, so we are going to require the Russian roulette of penalties to decide which club progresses to the quarterfinals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the conclusion of this UEFA Cup tie.
Most useless speech ever made, not yours, but the one to the referee. You could see him gesturing, please don't take steps off the line. Right. And please don't cross on the don't cross signal. You know, I mean, you tell your children, but they still do it.
So it'll be Thomas Gravesen who came on right at the end of extra time, who takes the first kick here against Sebastian Frey. And so coolly done by Gravesen. May even have been his first touch of the ball, you know.
It was his first touch of the ball. Yeah. Yep.
Well, we were a little surprised when Andy Johnson was hauled off, a regular penalty kick taker to make way for Gravesen, but well, there was obviously method to the madness. And now it's Gianpaolo Pazzini, who came closest perhaps to scoring tonight for Fiorentina. Pazzini up against Howard. Trying to level matters for Fiorentina, and Pazzini does it. He picked his spot high and away to Howard's right. Howard guessed right, but couldn't get there.
Yeah, that's unstoppable. Absolutely unstoppable. Two very good penalties taken. Said it is all about nerve.
And the next to have his nerves tested will be the Nigerian marksman Yakubu. So many goals this season for Everton, 16 of them in all competitions. I'm sure he'd trade one or two of them away right now for a successful penalty against Frey. It's Yakubu. Oh, back off the post. He sent Frey the wrong way, but he couldn't convert. And Everton are the first to miss.
Well, he just cut it too narrow, didn't he? He was going for the perfect corner inside the post, into that inside of the part of the side netting. And he just didn't cut it fine enough. So he has given a glimmer now, an opening to Fiorentina.
And now the pressure just ramps up a notch or two, both on the penalty kick taker and on Tim Howard. He has to produce something now somewhere along the line for Everton. It's going to be Montolivo who's next. And he scores, going high again, this time straight down the middle.
Yeah, driven with so much power that if the goalkeeper makes a commitment, and goalkeepers always will do because they feel so silly just standing there and waiting to see where it's going, and then embarrasses the ball, just goes into the corner. But sometimes down the middle you can save them that way. Here's Arteta. Ooh, a lot of pressure on him. Got one super goal already today.
Mikel Arteta, whose goal pulled the sides level. Very, very coolly done. Talk about grace under pressure there.
Well, he certainly gambled on the goalkeeper diving, didn't he? That is the flip side of risking the dive on the goalkeeper's part.
And next up it'll be the Argentine Pablo Osvaldo for Fiorentina. A rare start tonight. He didn't have any openings in the run of play, but can he make the penalty count and maintain Fiorentina's advantage here? Osvaldo against Howard. Well, he took a leaf out of Arteta's book.
He sure did. And that time he just, except he put it more in the corner. And you saw Howard looking a bit mesmerized there, not quite sure which side he should go to. In the end, didn't choose any, and as he looked a bit silly.
Now can Phil Jagielka do the business for Everton? He can't! Sebastian Frey has palmed it away, and Fiorentina are on the doorstep now. They just need one more penalty conversion. What a save.
That's a super save. He does guess correctly, but he's falling and he reaches up the upper hand as he's falling and claws it away. It was struck with power, but it was a bit too high. It's in that area where it's easiest to get to if you dive, because it's right in your wheelhouse. Now can Howard save here and keep it going?
Mario Santana for Fiorentina, and it's the side from Florence who will move on to the UEFA Cup quarter-finals. Everton have come up shooting blanks in the Russian roulette of the penalty kicks, and Fiorentina prevail 4-2, the final winning margin.
Well, it's cruel, isn't it? You talked about the away sides having a little less pressure of them.
It's happened again, hasn't it?
Yeah, and they took their penalties with great confidence.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our coverage from Goodison Park. It was a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Seamus Mallon and all our crew, I'm Adrian Healy. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you next time.